Well, Missouri got some more bad weather, and the thing that sucks about this weather is when I was in the military, stationed at my last duty station, Abilene, Texas, got the worst ice storm on record. That following day, I had to go to work. I called up my boss, told them, look, I shouldn't have to go to work because we got 4 inches of ice. And they said, too bad, you got to come to work. On the way to work, I had a little accident. Police were called, no fault due to weather. The tow truck brought me to work. By the time I got to work, everybody was gone. There were so many wrecks that day that they called it off. Later, my job was changed to a non-essential job to where when weather like this happens, non-essential personnel shouldn't have to come to work. Only essential personnel like emergency room, hospitals, police, stuff like that. I have a daughter who works at an urgent care. She didn't go to work, but some of her coworkers went to work, and hardly anybody has shown up to be seen at urgent care. I think they need to go to non-essential work related also. Nothing but ice on these roads. I had a doctor's appointment tomorrow, which I changed due to this weather. Yeah, I'm not going to play these because it'd be violating their copyright rules, I'm sure. Crew responds to several ice-related crashes on I-55, and that was updated 3 hours ago. Slick roads to blame for crashes on I-55. I-55 southbound closed to Pemiscot County. I-69 exit at Benton, Kentucky reopened after 18 vehicle crash. Check travel conditions in Heartland. If you can't stay home and have to get out, make sure to check road conditions before you go. If you're a non-essential worker, you wouldn't have to check the road conditions because you wouldn't have to go to work. That's what I'm getting at. They should be classified as essential and non-essential jobs. Had I been just entering the military back when Abilene got their worst ice storm ever, I couldn't afford full coverage insurance. I wouldn't have had 2 vehicles. I was married at the time. And so, because I had to go to work because I was in the military, I had no choice in the matter. I felt the military should have paid for my vehicle that got damaged. I filed a legal complaint. They turned me down. They told me I could hire a lawyer. I didn't want to go through the hassle. But because I was ending the end of my career, I had some money in the bank. I had 2 vehicles. I had full coverage on my vehicles. The full coverage insurance took care of it. But what happens when you go to apply for a new insurance? They ask you, have you had any wrecks or accidents or tickets in the past 3 or 5 years, depending on your insurance company? But because I hit another vehicle, even though it wasn't my fault, it was the ice, 4 inches of ice is the fault. My insurance raised for the next 3 to 5 years. So that's why I filed the complaint against the legal system. Later, the jobs were identified as a non-essential job. So if a situation like that happened again, we didn't have to go into work and wouldn't get in trouble. My point of this video is I personally feel that jobs need to be classified as essential and non-essential. Essential being your emergency workers, emergency room hospital, nurses, doctors, etc., fire department, security police, of course. Non-essential being fast food restaurants and Walmart and Home Depot, Menards, and even urgent care. The urgent care treats patients that do not typically have a doctor. It's not an emergency. They go because they're sick. It's a glorified doctor's office. It should be classified as a non-essential personnel job. And when they classify those jobs, if a job that is a non-essential job was to make their employees come to work that day, and even though the fire department and emergency services such as the chief of police department state it's for essential personnel only, that employee should have to pay for any damages to a vehicle that might occur due to weather. And in the worst case scenario, if that person was to get killed in that accident, that employee should have to pay for all funeral services and beneficiary services because they made that person come into work. Same way for essential jobs. If your job is an essential job, such as fire department, emergency services, police department, if you were to get into an accident, then that employer should have insurance on hand to pay for any damages that might occur. To include, and God forbid, if you were to get killed in that accident, they should have to pay for funeral services and beneficiaries to your surviving loved ones. And if I was president, that is one of the things that I would have changed about this country. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. You know, it would break my heart if my children had a job that was a non-essential job but was forced to go to, and they had an accident and got killed due to the weather. I would be an upset person, and I don't know what I would do. But there's no sense in somebody having to go to work when the weather station clearly says, do not drive if you don't have to. No sense in somebody having to go to work to flip burgers or to stock shelves at Walmart or wherever, and they get into an accident where they only have one vehicle, so now they no longer have a vehicle to go to work because of the current work policies. And God forbid that person died on the way to work to flip burgers or stock shelves. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. You know, yes, people have to pay their bills, but there should be money set aside to pay your workers, just like school days. You go to school, you have school days that you have to make up for because you miss so many school days. But you still have a summer vacation. It should be the same way. If you lost work due to weather, they should have funding set aside to pay you for that work. Some jobs do, not all jobs do, but they need to change it to where they do. That way people can make common sense process, or that's not really the word, but they could say, look, the roads are bad, I'm not driving in it, I'm still going to get paid to pay my bills, so I don't have to chance going to work and having an accident or getting killed to pay my bills. Anyway, I'll get off of the soap opera on the weather. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's free to do so. And may God bless each and every one of you, and may you stay safe